Dead of Night, a true horror story, introduction. The human imagination often conjures horrors far worse than reality, and yet reality has a way of surprising us. This tale explores the thin veil that separates our world from the unknown, where fear thrives and logic falters. It serves as a chilling reminder of why some doors should remain closed and why some paths are best left unexplored. The story. The town of Ravenswood lay in perpetual gloom, nestled in the shadow of mist-shrouded hills. It was a place where whispers traveled faster than the wind, and secrets lived longer than the people who kept them. Among its residents was Clara Hawthorne, a young journalist with a penchant for uncovering the truth, no matter how dark. When Clara received an anonymous tip about an abandoned mansion at the edge of town, her curiosity was piqued. The mansion, known as Blackwood Manor, was infamous for its dark history. Stories of sudden deaths, strange apparitions, and the unexplained disappearance of its last occupants had turned it into a local legend. The note read simply, "If you want the story of a lifetime, come to Blackwood Manor at midnight." Alone. Despite the ominous tone, Clara couldn't resist the lure of a good story. Armed with her flashlight, notebook, and recorder, she set out under the pale light of a full moon. The mansion loomed like a beast in the night, its broken windows resembling hollow eyes. As Clara stepped inside, the air grew colder, and the faint scent of decay filled her nostrils. Her footsteps echoed in the vast emptiness, each creak of the floorboards sounding like a warning. In the grand foyer, Clara found a dusty chandelier swaying gently, though there was no breeze. The walls were lined with portraits, whose eyes seemed to follow her every move. She tried to focus, her recorder capturing the unsettling silence. "Who sent me the note?" she called out, her voice trembling. Her only response was a distant laugh, soft yet chilling. Clara's determination wavered as she ventured deeper into the mansion. She entered a room that seemed untouched by time, with a grand piano in the corner and a large mirror reflecting her uneasy expression. As she examined the room, the piano keys played a haunting melody by themselves, and the mirror's surface rippled as though it were water. In the library, Clara found journals belonging to the mansion's last owner, Victor Blackwood. The entries grew increasingly incoherent, speaking of voices in the walls, shadowy figures, and a door that appeared where it shouldn't. "The door is alive," one entry read. "It whispers to me, begging to be opened. I cannot resist much longer." As Clara read, she heard a faint tapping sound. She turned to see a door that hadn't been there before. It was small, barely large enough for a person to crawl through, and it pulsed like a living thing. Against her better judgment, Clara approached the door. A voice seeped from the cracks, soft and insidious. "Come closer, Clara. We've been waiting." Unable to resist, Clara opened the door. A gust of icy wind blew out her flashlight, plunging her into darkness. On the other side was a void, endless and oppressive, filled with the sound of distant screams. Clara felt herself being pulled in, her body paralyzed as shadowy hands reached out to grab her. She fought against the force, her screams joining those in the void. Just as she thought she'd be lost forever, a sudden burst of light filled the room. An old woman stood there holding a lantern. Her face was familiar, like one of the portraits Clara had seen earlier. "You shouldn't have opened it," the woman said sternly, dragging Clara away from the door. The woman introduced herself as Eleanor Blackwood, the sole survivor of the Blackwood family. She explained that the door was a gateway to the other side, a realm of trapped souls. Victor had opened the door years ago, unleashing a curse that consumed the family one by one. "The mansion feeds on fear," Eleanor said. "It lured you here, just as it did us. The door cannot be closed once opened. Your only chance is to leave before it's too late." But the mansion had other plans. Doors slammed shut, and the house groaned as if alive. The shadows grew bolder, their whispers turning into anguished cries. Clara and Eleanor raced through the corridors, desperately trying to find an exit. As the clock struck midnight, the mansion unleashed its full fury. The walls bled darkness, and the air became thick with malevolence. Eleanor stumbled, her lantern flickering out. "Go!" she yelled to Clara. "Save yourself!" But Clara couldn't leave her behind. She pulled Eleanor to her feet, the two of them navigating the labyrinthine halls. Finally, they reached the front door, only to find it sealed shut. The shadows closed in, their forms grotesque and unrecognizable. Clara remembered the journals and Victor's last entry. The door must be destroyed to break the curse. Summoning her courage, Clara ran back to the small, pulsing door. With a heavy candlestick, she struck it repeatedly, each blow releasing a deafening scream. The door shattered, and the shadows dissolved into nothingness. Clara awoke on the lawn outside Blackwood Manor, the first rays of dawn breaking over the hills. Eleanor was gone, leaving behind only the lantern. The mansion stood silent, its curse seemingly broken. Clara left Ravenswood that day, vowing never to return. She published her story but omitted the details of the supernatural events. Some truths, she realized, were too dangerous to share. Moral curiosity is a double-edged sword. While it drives discovery, it can also lead to peril. Some mysteries are best left unsolved, for the pursuit of truth can sometimes awaken horrors that cannot be undone.